Sagittarius Sun, Moon, or Rising. Welcome to your 18-month lunar nodal forecast. We are in exciting times, and this is a significant shift for us all, including for you, Sagittarius. In this video, I'm breaking down the whole transit, so stay with me as I go through this. Welcome, beloved souls. Welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Vivía, and this is my channel, Your Soul as Well, where I use astrology to help us navigate our shifting and exciting and sometimes turbulent world. I am a certified professional astrologer using the Western tropical zodiac, and I'm delighted to have you here with me today. I want to remind everybody that this is what I do for work, and I'm really trying to build my presence here. So if you like my work, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss an upload. Sagittarius, here is your chart showing, no worries if you're not here in this location. It helped me get the ascendant right at Sagittarius and not lose any of these placements. So if you're a Sagittarius, this is your reading and no worries about that. This is showing the initial ingress of the North Node here into your 4th house of Pisces and the South Node here into your 10th house of Virgo. And what does that mean for you? This shift is happening. It's happened already, 11th or 12th of January, depending on where you are in the world. And it carries right through till July 26th of 2026. So this is highlighting, as I already said, your 4th house and your 10th house, your 4th house of home and family and roots, ancestral lineage, your mother, perhaps nurturing your instinct, your internal emotional awareness. And with the North Node being there and the opposite point, the South Node being in your very public and visible house of career and recognition, public image, reputation, what you are known in the world for. Even if you don't have a career necessarily, you may be retired or you may not work out in the public, but you're still known out in the world for something, whether that's just your own circle of acquaintances or if you have even a larger influences, you are still known for something out in the world. And this is the house that represents that, the 10th house. So as I said, your 4th house with the North Node moving in there is going to bring emphasis to your home, your family environment, your house. It could deal with land or real estate or property. It is the house of the personal foundation. So your inner security, your emotional security, and your own nurturing. When the North Node is here, this placement emphasizes a need again to connect to your family ancestry, your family, get back to your home, your roots, or perhaps even laying some foundation or some roots into developing your own property or owning your own property somehow. It does also indicate a need to focus on your own emotional needs and deepen your connection, like I said, with family or your roots. And it might be, it will foster a time to really create a safe haven in your own home if you haven't already, or will bring emphasis here again to even deepen this more for you. It will bring a time for you, this nodal axis shift, to focus more on your own personal happiness and emotional satisfaction as opposed to external success. So again, with your emotional well-being, there's going to be emphasis here with this 4th node here about developing roots, laying down a foundation, emotional security, and you might be delving into some deep shadow work, ancestral lineage work, perhaps. When the 4th node goes through your house of home and family, it can be a time for shifts related to home and family life. So with the North Node there, maybe a growing family, maybe a moving into a larger home or acquiring more land. There could be a relocation of home or residence. You might even move back to your own birthplace. If you've moved from there, you may be inspired to renovate or redesign your home or beautify your space, especially with Venus present there. There may be additions to your family through the birth of new babies. All in all, it's a good time for developing inner stability and focusing on that foundation of emotional fulfillment, inner security, and stability. And seeing as Saturn is present there too, Saturn is really lending you a hand in order to do this. Create this structure in your home, the stability of inner life. It's really such a great time to focus on what truly makes you feel grounded and peaceful and innerly contented. You may feel a need to feel vulnerable and connect with others around you on an a deep emotional level. And this could be a time period where you will be diving into cycles, ancestral cycles, spiritual cycles that have been perpetuated throughout generations. Be aware of that. That could bring up a lot for you. This could bring about an acceptance of your caregivers or family members, seeing that they were doing the best that they could for you in their own lifetime, and that they were dealing with their own struggles and trauma and ancestry, your same ancestry. And if you look back to the time period of June 2006 to December of 2007, this is when the North Node was last in your house, first house of Pisces and your 10th house of Virgo. You might see similar themes. So reflect back to that period of time in your life, reflect back to what was happening there in your life, and see, because that could give you a general idea of some of the things that might come back up, or some of the themes you may be exploring again. And on this note, you might be reflecting on the past to gain insight about yourself and your path and your purpose. With your South Node going through the 10th house, career, public image, reputation, your social status, but it's the South Node, so it's the weaker point. It's the point of release and surrender, and there's less energy there. So you might feel a need to be less visible, less present. You might want to, in this time period, not be so visible and withdraw or retreat more into your own home as you're going through this. I see this healing cycle starting for you, and you might need to release old attachments to your career or your public validation and rely instead to your own internal authority and internal validation. And it's a time to reflect on where you have been prioritizing work or external validation over your own internal security and validation, emotional validation. So as the South Node is going through your 10th house and there's less energy there, your career, you may expect your career or public image to shift with this transit. So it might bring a shift in your public appearance, recognition, status, your work, your career, your public image. It might just end some type of career for you or professional situation. And you may be asked to let go of something in this area of your life surrounding these things, some job or social status. Again, this is about letting go of seeking external validation and relying more on your own internal processes and authority. As you are moving away from being defined by your public image, remember that there's lots that's going to open up for you in your 4th house and a rebirthing of sorts through that 4th house. Remember to stay open and fluid as the North Node moves through your Piscean house. Pisces is fluidity and oneness, and it connects to the divine. So expect synchronicities and divine intervention and miracles, even as something is closing. Maybe you didn't expect it, or maybe you were feeling it coming on, but either way, know that there's going to be lots of opportunity opening up for you. I'm going to run through some of the transits to this North Node here in your 4th house during this 1.5 year period. If you want a more complete breakdown of each of these transits, see the video, and I'll put it into the description box. The second part of my nodal transit, the general overview. And I also did a breakdown of what the nodes are and what they represent in your chart if you would like more information on that. So see that link as well in the description box. So the nodes moved in, as I said, on the 11th or 12th of January, and they move in backward motion. So they start off here at 29 degrees. As soon as it entered, it was already applying to a conjunction with Neptune. So adding again to this very mystical, elusive energy that both Pisces and Neptune have. On February 1st, Venus made its first conjunction of 4 to the North Node. It was at 28 degrees. The moon was also conjuncting, and they were both conjuncting Neptune. So this really added such a mystical, again, elusive energy to this, and it just felt very magical and surreal. And it just is such a nice energy to come into this nodal transit in right off the bat, and it just leaves us, I think, feeling very inspired and just really beautifying this area of your chart, your home, and bringing lots of love and self-love and compassion and nurturing to this area of your life. On February 7th or 6th, depending on where you are in the world, the North Node conjuncts Neptune. The North Node comes into an exact conjunction with Neptune at 28 degrees of Pisces. So again, adding to the overall mysticism, and I had mentioned mentioned in other videos that maybe some downloads or divine intervention happening. On February 27th of this year, 2025, there's going to be a significant new moon in your 4th house, Sagittarius. It's going to happen right here at 9 degrees where Venus currently is. Now the moon is going to go around and it's going to conjunct the North Node once a month, every month until the North Node leaves. But this one is a really important one, and I'd like to mention it because later on in the month we have an eclipse happening at this exact point, and then later on next year we have a whole lineup of planets that are going to one by one hit that point, and I'll get to them. And so this marks this as a very, very auspicious point in your chart. So this first new moon here, it's a great time to plant new seeds around any of those topics I just mentioned, establishing a greater foundation for yourself in terms of emotional security, inner sense of security, inner sense of fulfillment, or actually your home base. Around this time, buying a new property, investing in new property or land or house, or changing something about in your own home. All of these things are possible here, especially since Venus is here and Saturn is here. Venus likes to beautify and Saturn is all about, constructing and building. So this is a good time to lay down some plans for literal foundations if you're thinking about that in your life. On March 1st, Mercury conjuncts the North Node at 27 degrees of Pisces. So at this point in time, maybe more ideas are coming around on how you can develop these things that I've just mentioned, your foundations in every sense of the word, your home, your nurturing life, your family life. By March 14th or 13th, there is a lunar eclipse happening in your 10th Virgonian house at 23 degrees of Virgo. Right here at 23 degrees of Virgo. So lunar eclipses close things off for us. They tend to bring endings. They're very often karmic endings. So things that were just meant to happen on your path. And again, it's just better to surrender and let go. Because if anything is ending here in this very public house of yours, dealing with career and reputation and perhaps businesses or jobs, the way the public views you, know that lots is opening up down here for you in your 4th house. And with the North Node in Pisces, it's always just better to surrender to the divine and allow what needs to be to be. On March 17th, the Sun conjuncts the North Node at 27 degrees of Pisces, right here again in your 4th house. So this conjunction of the Sun to the North Node is bringing more actualization, more energy, more like the spotlight, right? The Sun shines, right? The Sun is our source of vitality and of life on the planet. And in the astrological chart, it's shining a light on this area of your chart, and it's helping you conceptualize and bringing cognitive abilities and your intelligence here to how are you going to do these things and what will you do next in this stage of your life. On March 29th is the solar eclipse that I spoke about at 9 degrees here of Pisces. So this too is an opening and a closing because a solar eclipse here. A solar eclipse brings new energy in. Think of it as a portal that opens up energy for you. So it's opening up here in your house of stability and foundation and nurturing and home and family life. So lots happening here. Again, karmic because it's an eclipse. And again, later on next year, other planets will follow through at this point, slightly 1 degree off, but still will be again coming by and activating this point several times in a row. On April 1st, Venus makes its second pass over the North Node at 27 degrees of Pisces. So when Venus is coming back over this point, she is now in retrograde motion. She's going to reevaluate, and you are going to be reevaluating things. So this house here is going to come into mind a lot because it reflects this house. Your 4th house is going to come into your mind, and your 10th house here will be coming into your mind. How you are relating between this polarity of home and family environment and your external public reputation and your perhaps public image, your very public career. So you'll be taking these things into consideration, deciding on how to move forward on your path and where to move forward and how to best use this energy to move yourself forward. On April 21st, Saturn conjuncts the North Node at 26 degrees of Pisces. So then Saturn and the North Node are coming into conjunction, and Saturn is the reality check, right? It'll help ground because in Pisces, we do tend to get a bit ungrounded, some more than others. So it will bring this reality check in, helping us to like, again, that lay those foundations. If you are actually, whether it's just spiritual and metaphysical and psychological, or whether it's actual physical physical foundations, the building of a new home or on a new property, or the reconstruction of your house. Saturn is going to aid you quite a bit here. On April 3rd, Venus makes its third pass over the North Node, now in forward motion again, still in shadow. It will happen at 26 degrees of Pisces, and she's exalted here. So even though she's in shadow, this is still, she's covering old territory, but she's still strong here. And it's about really assessing again where you're at, where you want to be at, and how to make that happen, and what you truly value in your life, what you truly value. And with all this energy here in your fourth house, I think that you're going to come to understand, if you don't already, how important your family is and your roots are, and the people around you, that nurturing, loving vibe, and how important it is even to surround yourself with beauty in all of its forms, and perhaps beautify your house. June 9th, Jupiter moves from your 7th house of Gemini into your 8th house of Cancer. Stays there until the end of July 2026. And this is great for all of us. Now, Jupiter is the ancient ruler of the Piscean house, with Neptune being the modern ruler. And so it will also be trining this house. So just this divine flow happening from your 8th house of other people's resources and money and inheritances right to your 4th house. So there could be some family wealth coming to you, perhaps from inheritances or investments, property, when Jupiter moves in. And like I said, Jupiter will be there for a year. August 15th, Venus will have just conjuncted Pluto, and she will be trining your 4th house. So again, this beautiful benevolent energy to your 4th house, coming into your 4th house, between your 4th house and your 8th house. So again, prosperity coming in, perhaps from inheritance. I really see this perhaps happening for you, or investments, or residual income, or anything that is not directly associated with your own earning potential, resources outside of yourself. So, and this could be also, if it's not money, it could be support from other women, Venus, and with Jupiter, support from men, and just benevolent energy and benevolent opportunity here, expansive opportunity opening up for you here. And that's just beautiful, Sagittarius. On September 3rd, so shortly after that, Jupiter makes its exact trine to the North Node at 18 degrees. And so again, just following through with this theme of this expansion and this benevolence and this energy just coming into, flowing between your 4th and your 8th house. So both of them, you know, especially to your 4th house of foundation and family and home and security. So I see a lot of great things happening there for you, Sagittarius. On September 7th, there's a lunar eclipse at 15 degrees happening in your 4th house here, 15 degrees of Pisces. So the lunar eclipses finalize things, or karmic closures, end things off and bring things again to a close. But since it's here with the North Node, it's actually also opening up energy. So this closure is really emphasizing that this needs to happen and something new needs to open up. So this could be, if you're thinking of moving, or you're buying some property, or redoing your home, this could be the point where it really initiates this and moves this forward for you. On September 21st of this year, 2025, there's going to be a solar eclipse in your 10th house at 29 degrees. So the solar eclipses bring new energy in, right? That's what a solar eclipse does. It tends to open up portals to us to bring tons of new information in. Since it's here with your South Node, though, it's also a closure. And again, it's a karmic closure, an ending of something. So if you were thinking about moving on from your job or your career or your public reputation, if you're thinking of switching jobs, if you're thinking of retiring, it might happen around this time. This might just be an ending to all of that. But remember, no fear, because there's lots of new things opening. The solar eclipse itself is going to open up a new avenue for you for public recognition and to be seen somehow as an authority, because that is the 10th house. It is the critical degree that is happening at 29 degrees. The critical degree in astrology, the 29th degree, is known as a crisis point. So it doesn't have to be a crisis point. If we're taking care of our health and our bodies and the things that we need to take care of, then it doesn't need to be dramatic or overly emphasized. It's just when we ignore the messages of ourselves, our higher selves, or of the divine, if you would like to look at it that way, and continue on paths that we are not supposed to be on, that's when things lead to crisis moments. And this is going to happen in your 10th house. So start paying attention now, beloved, to messages that you're getting around perhaps leaving something that is what you're recognized for already, a public image. And like I said already, it could be a job, it could be your career, and it doesn't have to be your career. Then moving into next last year. This is where we get the lineup of planets right here in your 4th house, starting with Mercury conjuncting the North Node at 9 degrees on February 11th, following shortly after that with Venus on February 17th at 8 degrees. And then on February 27th, it's the Sun that conjuncts at 8 degrees. On March 13th, it's Mars that conjuncts the North Node at 8 degrees. And then on March 22nd, Mercury conjuncts the North Node again at 8 degrees. It's now in forward motion. The first conjunction on the 11th, Mercury was in retrograde motion. So these are opportunity after opportunity to look at what it is that you have seeded in this new moon cycle that I just mentioned on February 27th. So what are you putting forth? Mercury is going to bring your mind into it, first in retrogradation, reviewing things, reassessing things. Then it's Venus that's going to come along and ask you to reevaluate. Is this really what you value? Is this really what you want? Then the Sun comes along and shines a big spotlight on it for you to actually look deeply at this, actualize anything that you need to actualize, right? Because the Sun is about our goals and our purpose. And then after that, it's Mars, and Mars is the action planet. So really being able to, at this point in time, put something forward and put something into action. With the last planet being Mercury, now out of retrogression, still in shadow, but still able to help you really understand, and maybe in messages coming in and information coming in about your plan and what you wish to do here in this 4th house: security, inner security, family, home, foundations. Finally, on July 26th of 2026, the North Node moves out of your 4th house into your 3rd house of Aquarius, where Pluto is present. So for a year and a half, it'll be there with Pluto in your Aquarian house. And then the South Node moves out of your 10th Virgonian house into your 9th house. And that will be a whole other talk later on down the road. So this transit for you, beloved Sagittarius, is really driving home themes of home and family and security, just a general shift to this area of your life and to emotional well-being and security. You really, at this point in time, are going to feel drawn to prioritizing this inner security, foundation, and home. And you might want to prepare yourself for some type of career shift. It doesn't necessarily have to be a complete end to the career that you're in. It could be shifting out of one aspect of it into another aspect of it. This really is a good time for inner reflection, for journaling, for, like I said, family ancestral work, and maybe working with somebody else. When Jupiter moves into your 8th house, it could open you up to seeking spiritual guidance through a mentor of some sort, maybe a psychologist or a therapist of some sort that helps you with break down all of this stuff that is happening in your 4th house. It really is a time to let go, as I've already said, and just go with the flow, to go with the flow. It really is for you about releasing control and letting go of external validation and that public recognition. And you will seek to find a balance between your public life, career, your reputation, and your family and home life. And you're going to find that your family and home life is what grounds you and brings you able to stay present, which is a problem we have often with, especially the North Node conjuncting all these planets, and Neptune in Pisces tends to get a little bit ungrounded. So for Sagittarius, it's time to prioritize emotional well-being and family and home environment life. Focus on creating a safe haven that feels secure to you and beautify your space. Even more so if you already have. Maybe it's time to change all that. Nurture your connections with your soul tribe, your family, your closest people to you. Release the need for external validation. Focus on your inner world. It's really a time of letting go of perfectionism with your public career or public image. This is such a significant time for you to really turn to and trust your own inner guidance, intuition, your own inner authority. I see your own inner authority building so strong through this transit, beloved Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, that is my 18-month forecast for you for this nodal shift. I hope that you have enjoyed this reading. Thank you so much for being here with me. Again, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss an upload, because I am uploading regularly now and I wouldn't want you to miss an important message on your path. Stay blessed, beloved Sagittarius.